All right, let's talk about one of the biggest hurdles in the IELTS exam, getting your essay score to jump from just okay to great. We're going to dive into the specific language, the secret sauce, really, that takes your writing from simply stating ideas to building a powerful, convincing argument that examiners love. Ready? Let's get into it.
So, why is it? It's the question I hear all the time. You know your stuff, you've got good ideas, but your score just seems to hit a wall at band 5 or 6. Well, the answer usually isn't about what you say, but how you say it. It's the huge difference between just having an opinion and actually presenting a well supported argument. And wow, look at this. This slide says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got your basic Band 5 statement. A sedentary lifestyle is bad. Sure, it's true, but it's flat. But then look at the right. That's the Band 7 magic. It uses sharp vocabulary and, more importantly, it frames the problem inside a bigger context, modern work culture. That's not just an opinion, that's analysis. And that's exactly where we're headed. To make that leap, you don't just need more words, you need the right words. So I want you to think of this next part as your personal toolkit. These aren't just words to memorize for a test. They are the actual tools you're going to use to construct arguments that sound smart and are genuinely persuasive. Okay, so every argument has to start somewhere, right? That starting point is called an assertion. It's your main claim, your big idea. For example, if you write, technology harms children, boom, that's your assertion. It's a strong, confident start. But, and this is a big but, it's not enough on its own. And here's why. For an IELTS examiner, an assertion without any backup is really just an opinion. They're trained to read your claim and immediately think, okay, prove it. Just dropping a bold statement and moving on is probably the #1 reason essays get stuck in that lower band. So what's the fix? Simple. We add support. This is the foundation of your entire argument. Support is the because part. It can be data, a logical explanation, or a clear example from the real world. For every single assertion you make, you need to follow it up with solid support. Now, this is where it gets really practical. I love this slide because it organizes your new toolkit by job function. You don't just throw these words in randomly. You pick the right tool for the job. You want to build your case? You use words like argue or justify. Need to push back against another point of view? Contradict and refute are perfect. And for stating your main thesis, contend sounds incredibly academic and strong. All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and see how this actually works. We're going to take our new toolkit and apply it to a super common IELTS topic, health and wellness. This is where we combine the argument words with topic-specific vocabulary to build something really impressive. We'll start with a familiar idea. Using a well-known proverb like this is a great little trick. It's an easy way to frame your argument and show the examiner right away that you're thinking about the broader context of the issue. And here it is, the final product. Just look at that beautiful structure. First, we state our main point with a power word. It is my contention. So much stronger than I think. Then we justify it, bringing in some great topic vocabulary like rational and obesity epidemic. And finally, we deliver the knockout punch, the support. We explain why it's rational, talking about chronic conditions and the cost of a sedentary lifestyle. Assertion, justification, support. That's the formula. Okay, you ready for a pro-level move? If you're seriously trying to push for a band 7 or even higher, this next technique is a total game changer. It's the art of concession, and it's what makes an argument feel truly balanced and sophisticated. It screams critical thinker. So, what on earth does it mean to concede? It's actually pretty simple. It just means you admit that the other side of the argument has a valid point. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, why would I ever do that? Isn't that weakening my own case? Nope, and here's why. It sounds a little crazy, but admitting a small point from the other side actually makes your own argument stronger. It shows the examiner you're fair, you're objective, and that you've considered all the angles. It builds your credibility right before you pivot back to prove why your main point is still the most important one.
And the best part is, there's a super simple 3-step recipe to do it perfectly. First, you concede the point using a phrase like, while it is true that. Second, you signal the turn with a transition word like however or nevertheless. And third, you rebut by coming back with your stronger counter-argument. Just remember that. Concede, signal, rebut. It's a fantastic structure. So let's bring all this home. We've gone on a pretty cool journey. From a basic statement all the way up to a complex, layered argument, let's just quickly recap the path you need to follow to make that climb up the bands. This chart just lays it out so clearly. A Band 5 essay? It tends to be full of simple statements without much proof. To get to Band 6, you start adding that basic support. But to really break into that Band 7 territory, you're not just supporting an idea, you're presenting a fully justified contention, and maybe even showing off that advanced concession skill. So if you only remember one single thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Your goal is not just to have an opinion, it is to justify a contention. That one little shift in your thinking from simply telling to actively justifying is the absolute key that unlocks those higher scores. And there you have it. Your new toolkit is ready to go. You have the structure, the vocabulary, and the pro-level techniques. The only thing left to do is to start building. So my question to you is, what powerful argument will you build first?